And when I looked into your eyes that night, everything else faded. The palace, the bloodshed, the threats, the trembling voices of the men who dared to defy me. None of it mattered in that moment. You were sitting there by the window, the silver glow of the moon wrapping itself around you like a cloak, making you look ethereal, almost untouchable. My chest tightened as I watched you, because no matter how many times I see you, the feeling is always the same, overwhelming, consuming, breathtaking. My baby, I decided it for you, and every time my gaze falls upon you, I am reminded why. I cross the room slowly, silently, like a predator afraid to startle its most precious prey. My cloak fell to the floor without a sound as I knelt before you, not caring that my knees met the cold stone tiles. The world would call it undignified for a prince to kneel, but they will never understand that before you, I must kneel. You are not merely a part of my life, you are the axis upon which my very existence spins. My baby, I decided it for you, and in doing so, I chose to lay all my crowns and titles at your feet. Your fingers reached out, brushing through my hair, a soft touch that undid me completely. My breath caught, my body trembling as if that simple gesture held more power than any weapon ever forged. I took your hand and pressed it against my cheek, closing my eyes, savoring the warmth of you. You don't need to worry, you whispered softly, concern lacing your voice. I know you've been busy, but you seem tired. We can leave this palace, if it's too much. Those words nearly broke me. Live. As if I could ever let you step outside these walls unwarded. As if I could bear the thought of you walking into a world filled with people who would dare to look at you, to covet what is mine. I'd open my eyes slowly, my gaze locking with yours. There was so much innocence there, so much trust, and it terrified me more than any blade ever could. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and the very idea of anyone harming you, of you ever leaving my side, filled me with a darkness I could barely contain. I took both your hands in mine, holding them tightly as though by sheer force of will I could fuse our souls together. You don't understand, I said quietly, my voice trembling with emotion. There is no world outside these walls that deserves you. There is no life beyond this one that can keep you safe. You are everything, and if you were to leave I would burn this world to ash just to bring you back to me. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and that decision has no boundaries, no limits, no end. You blinked at me, startled, but before you could speak, I leaned forward and rested my head against your lap. My arms wrapped around your waist, holding you tightly, desperately, as if letting go for even a heartbeat might shatter me completely. For a moment, I didn't care how it looked, didn't care if I seemed weak. I needed you to feel it, to understand the depth of my love, my obsession, my vow. You are my sanctuary, I whispered into the fabric of your clothes, my voice raw, uncorded. When I'm with you, the rage disappears. The noise fades. The crown, the power, the endless demands, they mean nothing. Only you matter. You are my peace, my purpose, my salvation. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and I will keep deciding it until the end of time. You did speak. Instead, you cradled my head gently, your fingers threading through my hair in a way that soothed the storm inside me. The silence between us was sacred, a language only we understood. It was in that silence that I made another silent promise, never to let this go, never to let anyone tear you away from me. Eventually, you coaxed me to rise, guiding me toward the bed. You fussed over me, removing my heavy cloak, straightening the tunic beneath, your touch tender and unhurried. I watched you the entire time, marveling at how someone so soft, so delicate, could wield such absolute power over me. No courtier, no general, No enemy had ever brought me to my knees, but you had done it effortlessly, simply by existing. When you lay down beside me, your head resting on my chest, I wrapped my arms around you and held you close. The scent of your hair, the warmth of your body, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, all of it anchored me in a way nothing else could. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and lying there with you in my arms, I knew with absolute certainty that there was nothing I wouldn't do to protect this moment, to protect you. As you drifted off to sleep, blissfully unaware of the chaos I had wrought earlier, I stared into the darkness and let my mind sharpen with resolve. It would never touch you. They would never speak of you. They would never even think of you again. I would make certain of it. And if I had to raise kingdoms, drown empires, and turn this very palace into a grave for anyone who dared to threaten what was mine, so be it. Why, baby, I decided it for. But no matter how carefully I hid the darkness, no matter how thoroughly I buried the evidence beneath layers of silk and gold, there are always cracks in the facade. And cracks they spread. It began subtly, like the faintest whisper at the edges of my kingdom's perfect harmony. A hesitant glance from a servant. A stammered pause in an advisor's report. A silence that lasted just a heartbeat too long during morning court. None of them dared to speak outright, but their fear was different now. It wasn't just the natural fear of a ruler's authority, it was sharper, more personal, the kind of fear that comes from knowing something terrible, but being too afraid to name it. I noticed immediately. How could I not? My entire life has been spent reading people, dissecting their motives, unmasking their secrets before they could even form them fully. I saw the tremors in their hands, the sweat beating on their brows, and though they tried to hide it, they were failing. I had thought I erased every trace of yesterday's purge, but perhaps someone had seen more than they should have. Perhaps someone had begun to suspect the truth. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and that means even suspicion is a threat. The first true sign came not from my council or my soldiers, but from someone much closer to you. Your attendant Mira, the one who has been by your side since before I came into your life. She has always been quiet, careful, almost invisible in her devotion to you. But lately, I have caught her watching me with a new kind of gaze, not the respectful deference of a servant, but the sharp, assessing look of someone who has begun to question. She never says anything aloud. She smiles when you look at her, speaks to you softly, serves you faithfully. But when your back is turned, I see the truth in her eyes. She knows. Not the whole truth, not yet, but enough to make her dangerous. This morning, as you dressed for our walk in the gardens, I stood by the window, pretending to be absorbed in the view. But my attention was entirely on the quiet exchange between you and Mira. My lady, she said softly, fastening the clasp of your cloak, there are rumors, in the servants' quarters, whispers about disappearances, important people vanishing without explanation. Her voice trembled just slightly, betraying her nerves. I don't know what's happening, but I thought you should be aware. I felt my jaw tighten, my hands curling into fists at my sides. You, in your endless innocence, only laughed lightly. Rumors are always swirling in this place. They probably just relocated or left for political reasons. You know how these things are, Mira. Yes, Mira said quickly, forcing a smile. Of course. It's probably nothing. But when she lifted her eyes, they flickered toward me for just a fraction of a second, and in that glance, I saw it. Oh. Yeah. Suspicion. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and now she has become a problem. I kept my expression carefully neutral as I approached, resting my hand lightly on your shoulder. Are you ready, my love? I asked gently, as though I hadn't heard a single word of the conversation. You nodded eagerly, linking your arm with mine, completely unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. As we walked through the gardens, You chattered happily about trivial things of flowers that had begun to bloom, the sound of the fountains, the upcoming festival you wanted to attend. Your laughter was soft and troubled, and it washed over me like a balm. I forced myself to focus on you, to let your voice calm the darker thoughts clawing at the edges of my mind. But no matter how soothing you are, the truth remains, Mira knows too much. And knowledge is a weapon. Later, when you retired for an afternoon rest, I lingered outside your chambers, speaking quietly with the guards stationed there. My tone was calm, measured, but my words were lethal. She is to be watched, I said, my gaze cold and unblinking. Every step she takes, every word she speaks, every glance she casts, you will report it to me. If she whispers, even once, about what she suspects, you will bring her to me immediately. Do you understand? The guard swallowed hard and nodded. Yes, Your Highness. I turned away, my cloak swirling around me as I walked down the corridor, my thoughts heavy. Mira was not just a threat to me, she was a threat to you. If she told you what she suspected, if she planted even the smallest seed of doubt in your heart, it could shatter everything. You trust me completely now. You see me as your protector, your anchor, your unshakable constant. Why, baby, I decided it for you, and I will not allow anyone to change that, not even someone you care for deeply. The irony is not lost on me. I do not want to hurt her. I know she has served you faithfully for years, that she genuinely loves you in her own way. But love, even hers, is dangerous if it stands in opposition to mine. I have destroyed entire bloodline.